Hello, you may be a new teacher to the Kershaw County School District, and we use Planbook for our lesson planning and for homework sharing for our students. So, we wanted to walk you through how to access it and get your Planbook set up. So, you may have received an email with a username and password. You can go to planbook.com and log in with your district email address, which would be first name dot last name at kcsdschools.net, and then a password. Or you may have gotten a email link from your administrator with to auto log in. So I'm going to use that auto link just to kind of show you how we would walk in. So in this example, we're going to go ahead and be able to type an email address and log right in. So in this case, I'm going to add Ms. Donna Moore, who is a new teacher at North Central Middle School. So again, I'm going to use the first name dot last name at kcsdschools.net. Double check and make sure you know your district email address. And then I'm going to set up a password. And then I'm just going to click sign up. And this is going to automatically add me to the North Central Middle School website. Now, this is going to tell me I've already been invited to visit that school. So I could actually have multiple schools. It looks like it's going to set up my account. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that there. I'm going to continue at North Central Middle School. But if you were serving multiple schools, you could have those that access. I'm going to click continue. And this is where it's going to ask me my display name. So in this case, I'm going to say I am Mrs. Moore, because that's what my students are going to call me. I'm going to put my first name and my last name so my administrator recognizes who I am. And then you will see it should automatically have your school name, the district name, and then a code here. If for any reason you don't see a name, we would just need to continue, check on that for you. But this means that your account is paid for the Kershaw County School District for this year. So I'm going to click continue. Now is when I'm going to set up the school year. So it needs to be 2019-2020. So make sure to write out the second year in 4 digits. We're going to set up the first day of school, which will be August 19th. The last day of school, which will be May 29th. And we're going to have our classes every week. That's a standard schedule. So once you have this correct, we can click continue. Now, this is where it asks you what style of lesson plan you want. Do you just want the basics? I want my lesson, my homework, any notes I have, and then the standards we're going to set up. Do I want to get a little more detailed with my objective, maybe some guided practice, or do I want to get very super detailed? You know the way that you work best, what your principal, you can talk to your principal and find out what they want. Typically, the instructional, kind of that middle of the road, is good. It's easy to adjust this later, but in this case, I'm just going to pick this instructional lesson plan. Click select. This is where I'm going to set up my course so that I know that Ms. Moore is teaching 8th grade science. So I can call it anything I want to. I can call it 8th grade science. I can call it science 8th grade. I can just call it science, whatever I want to call it. Here's where I could set my color if I want to change this. I have found that dark colors work better, but you can pick whichever color you like. And then this is a course that's, Monday through Friday. If I had an unusual schedule, I could change that, but in most cases, Monday through Friday is correct. So I'm just going to hit, now I could go ahead and add more classes. If you are a middle school or high school teacher and you teach multiple sections, unless you're planning to vary your lesson plans a great deal every day, you may just want to have one course. Make it easy for you. You know that you're going to adjust, monitor and adjust as you go through, but you're probably sticking to the same lesson plan. If you have other classes, you can add them there and go through the same steps. I'm going to continue. Okay, this is very important because In our district, these are the default Planbook holidays. And in our district, we attend school on Veterans Day. So this is a school day for us. So you need to uncheck this. Otherwise, it's going to block this day from lesson planning because it assumes that you have that vacation day. All the other days are fine. We don't need to worry about this right now. We're going to hit continue. These are all the dates that the district has added into your lesson plan for you. So in a few minutes when we check our lesson plan, you will see now that Labor Day holiday has been added in for you. So we are going to just click shift your lesson plans. But in the future, if you ever see this pop up, you always want to go ahead and shift your lesson plans. An example of this might be if we had a weather day, there's a snow day, this will bump you would say shift your lessons and it'll bump your lessons there. So let's click that. It's going to load my schedules. Now it's going to give me this very friendly reminder. Look, welcome to Planbook. This is a great way to take a minute or two to go through your overview. It will walk you through what the areas are. It'll tell you about how to edit lesson plans. It will show you here's where your school year list is. Here is where the display names are. I'm going to exit this right now, but what I'm going to show you is if you ever want to go back, let's say you don't have time right now, you can go back to right up here where your name is, click on that down arrow, and there's a little happy balloon that says overview, and you can start that overview again. So you can go back anytime you want to and walk through that overview. There also, while we're on the name section right here, there are sections here where you can get additional help. Anytime you click up here on your name, you can get more information, send some feedback, and watch tutorial videos. They do have a good variety of tutorial videos that you can watch to know how to do some advanced features on that. But your go-to is where you're going to do most of your lesson planning information. So let me show you this. If I needed to set up additional classes, I could go to classes. And that's where this looks hopefully familiar. We did it a few minutes ago. If you go to your display settings, this is where you could work with your lesson plan. This is just the structure of the lesson plan. So for example, if I wanted my objective to be, let's say I want it to be bright red and I want it to be larger 12 points, I could set that up. And so now in my lesson plan, when I add a lesson, it would show up a little bit more there. Let me go ahead and let's add a lesson. And we're also going to go ahead and set our standards. And then we'll let you look around here in a second. So here's my first day of class. I want to just add a very basic intro to science and a welcome. So I am going to click on the bar where I want to add my lesson right here. And now I can see my lesson plan right here. So here's my objective, and I could say my objective is going to be welcome and overview of science class. I know that's not a great objective, but bear with me because I'm trying to do that. So here is, I can just click on each tab to add my content. My homework is going to be to read the syllabus and get signed. I could have notes for myself, and I'm going to have my standards. I'm going to come back to my standards in just a second. So right now I've added a couple items here. I'm going to click this check box, and now you see here's my objective and here's my homework. Of course, it's not a lesson plan without some standards there, and I'll add that in just a moment. But so that's as simple as it is. I just click on my dates and add my content. So I'm going to click here again because I want to go ahead. The first time I come in, I'm going to set my standards, and then my standards will be there for me each time. So if I click on the standards tab, I'm going to click the plus because I want to add my standards. And it just kind of defaults here. But what I want to do is, because I'm in South Carolina, I'm going to change these. And this is, each year they set this a little different. Oh, I know what I need to do. Hold on just one second. All right. So I'm going to go on standards here. I'm going to give me one. Every year they change this just a little bit. Okay. Sorry, my screen. Here we go. I apologize because I'm going to click the plus. Thank you for giving me a little food. All right, so I'm going to click the plus for my more frameworks here. This is what I want to do. I'm going to clear all because I want to get rid of those Common Core standards right there. And I'm going to scroll down until I find my state. Here you go. So we're looking for U.S. state and South Carolina. So I'm going to check that and I'm going to click this plus, okay? So I'm going to go over that again. Well, it's going to walk me right through this. So let's keep watching and I'll walk you back through this again in just a minute. So now I know that I'm a science teacher in this case. Let me show you this. Anytime you see a date, so these are the original science standards. These are the newest science standards. So I'm going to click the Science 2014 standard and I'm going to click plus. And then I'm going to change my drop box to 8th grade. And now I have my South Carolina science standards for 8th grade. And the categories is where if they're different sections, if I just wanted to narrow down to physical science waves, then I could search and that would narrow it down. But I want all categories here. And you notice as I change these, my standards down here change. So once I've got this set, now I could go in here and I could check off which standards I'm teaching in that class. So let's say it's day 1 and I'm going to cover standard 1 and click the plus. And here is my standard added to my lesson plan. I'm going to click back on the standard. Let me go to the next day to show you that the standards are the same. So I'm going to click on my lesson, go to my standard. I'm going to click the plus, and now you see my standards are here, but let's say I messed up. Let's walk back through this again. So I'm going to go to the standard, click the plus. I could clear out any standards I messed up, and then I would find SC State, South Carolina, check that. Pick my subject. So for example, let's say I wanted to incorporate some art standards. Maybe that's a focus of my school. I could add more subjects and I could also select visual arts. So I could click the standard as well. So now in this drop box, I would have science standards and visual arts standards. And so I could add the standards as I wanted to. But if I want to remove that, I'll just click back in here. I could clear all and then go back just to my science standards. I could also do the same thing if I need to monitor and adjust and maybe pull a standard from an earlier year. The other thing I did not do right here when I made my lesson is I didn't give my lesson plan a title. Here's a title, so I could say this is going to be Intro to Science. And so now my lesson plan has a title right there, my objective. So I've got that. All right. So I could, the other nice thing about this is I could say, oh no, I really want it to do, we've got another school-wide activity on Monday and I want to move this lesson to the next day. I can click it. If I click it, it opens it. I could click this little, see this little plus icon here? I could click that icon and drag this lesson to another day. When I see it there, it's a little finicky. There you go. See, it says, I think it's my mouse. I apologize. Well, if that doesn't work, then I can also bump it. So I could bump it forward one day And there it is. That moves. That might be the easier way if you have a quirky mouse. So I bumped it forward and I just moved it to the next day so I could have another lesson there. Or I'm going to click that little drop arrow. I'm going to bump it backwards. It just reminds me if I had a lesson there, it's going to move my lessons around. But there's some other options you can explore here. I could extend the lesson. So maybe this ends up being a 2-day lesson. I can extend it 3 days. I could delete the lesson. I can print it right here. So there are a lot of things I can do. That's the basic of the lesson plan. Whatever you post here, your principal will automatically be able to see. It's immediate. So your principal can go into their plan book, log in, look, and see the lessons exactly as you have them here. But now I want to set it up so that you can share your lessons with your students. So this is the last step we have to do. So if you go to, and then under the go to, I'm going to go to sharing. And if I was collaborating with other teachers on sharing lessons, I could do that, but I want to share with students. So I'm going to click on the share with students. The key, this is important. The key is going to be, think of your network login. It's the first part of your email address. So in this case, it's going to be Ms. Moore, Donna.Moore. Whatever the first part of your email address. So if it's kind of unusual, if your email address is a truncated part of your name, whatever it is, put it there. This way, it's got to be unique for the district. So that works best for us. Under the view information, this is what you want students to see. So in this case, I probably don't want my student to see all of my lesson plan. There's nothing wrong with that. But in this case, if students are looking for homework and parents or families are looking for homework, they really want to see homework. You might want to share the objective. It doesn't hurt to share the objective. It doesn't hurt to share any information. But the bottom line is they want to see what the homework was. So whatever you want to be seen, check that and click done. Your status, I just click all statuses. It doesn't really matter. Just click all statuses. We're going to show all classes. So if you taught multiple classes, they'll be able to see all the homework for all the courses. We're going to leave this all prior weeks to all future weeks. We want them to see anything. If they want to see what the homework was 2 weeks ago, that's A-okay. And the default view is a week because that's the way we do that. Okay, so once I have done this is important. I want you to click email links to me. You could also download it, and that's okay as well. If you download it, it's going to download to the bottom of your screen, your links. But if you click email links to me, it's going to take a second. You see here, it says, oh, I shared it. It has emailed you a hyperlink for your homework. And in a little bit, when you go set up your Blackboard account, and there'll be a separate video for the Blackboard website, that's your school class website, I will say, now you need your homework link. And your homework link is what was just emailed to you. So that is all you need to do. Just click this little checkbox. As always, as a safety and security, make sure to sign out of all your accounts. If you have any questions, please see your librarian, see your instructional technology specialist, your ITS, fellow teacher, anyone who uses the lesson plans, or go talk to your administrator. Any of those folks will be glad to help you with Planbook. You can always contact me as well. I'm webmaster at kcsdschools.net. I'll be glad to assist you. I hope you have a wonderful year at the Kershaw County School District.